I've been meaning to make this video for a very long time. Years, in fact. And I thought when the day finally came, I would have like a script, or at least like bullet points of all the topics I wanted to cover. Nope, I'm not even going to do that here. I'm literally just going to go off the cuff, speak straight from the heart, and discuss some of the reasons why I stopped playing certain strategy games that I used to. I still get these questions all the time. I've been doing YouTube for like, I think it's almost 11 years now, officially. I think my channel's birthday is coming up. It's going to be 11 years of doing YouTube. So during that time, I've had a lot of different, I've been doing a lot of different things. Obviously, my content now is different than what I was doing 3 years ago versus 5 years ago versus obviously 10 years ago. And I think we have to kind of start back pretty far back, especially for those that don't know, maybe for people that have more than likely just discovered me. Also, hello, I got a second camera now. Well, I've always had a second camera, but I actually have this one set up. This is going to be an only this channel setup. You're only going to see this angle of me on this channel. That's crazy, right? I can already tell people are going to be like, whoa, Drew has another side of his face. So when I first started my YouTube career, I guess, quote unquote, these are the oldest videos that I made back in the day. This was 10 years ago. This will be ticking up to 11 years ago. This is a Civilization 5 Let's Play video. Now, Let's Plays don't really exist anymore. It's really funny. You'll never hear those words anymore. These are only coming from like the old heads that say that. Like me, because nowadays everything is just streaming. I mean, Let's Plays don't make sense. It's just an unedited gameplay footage. Except it wasn't live because the technology really wasn't there. But you used to just kind of play a game unedited, and you just upload them straight to YouTube, and then that's it. You wouldn't do anything else. Obviously, that format got killed when Twitch came out, and live streaming became more and more popular, and the technology was more and more like accessible. That's the biggest thing, is the technology became more accessible with time. But back in the day, I would Let's Play a lot, and the first game I ever really played, completely unedited, was Civilization 5. That's really where I got my start, is Civ 5. I still love that game with a true passion. I don't see much of a reason to go back to it, but I'm always open. That's not really the topic that I meant to go down to, but Civilization 5 will always have a really close place in my heart. Sounds cheesy, but one day I do plan to do a favorite video games tier list, and I can guarantee you that will be near the top. It's definitely going to be in the video, but I think Civilization 5 will be up there. I don't know exactly where it's going to be. So that's where my channel started in 2013. So I Let's Play for years here. A lot of the videos are... A lot of the Civ 5 videos are privated, and that's because so many of those videos got claimed, because if you didn't know, Civ 5 used copyrighted music as their like base soundtrack. So that was kind of like a weird, awkward moment. It was like old school games coming into like, what's even the word here? Fighting this new wave of like media, basically, because a lot of games back in the day would sometimes use copyrighted music, so when people would come to Let's Play those games, they would get claimed, and there'd be like some music company that would take all the ad revenue, basically. So it almost incentivized creators to not play those games anymore. I still obviously love Civ 5, so I continue to play it, but regardless, that was kind of a big issue. So a lot of this stuff is gone. I think I have like technically over 5,000 videos, but only 4,000 are public, more or less. I love how I kept, I believe, was this the first? No, I think I have older EU4 games. But anyways, in 2013 to 2014, I was really just playing Civilization 5. This Mamluk's Let's Play is when I started playing a game called Europa Universalis 4. All the Paradox players know that game. That game is still extremely popular. EU4, I still love EU4 a lot. In fact, I actually forgot to put this in the beginning of the video. Why did I stop playing some of these games? The answer is I didn't. I just recently played EU4 again for the first time on my gaming channel. It did okay in views. And then I just did a review over Victoria 3, and it was kind of the old school format. So technically the answer to this video is I haven't stopped. There was a good period before that where I didn't play it for like 2 years, but we're getting to that. We're getting to that. So I'm mainly doing, in the years of like 2014 and 2015, I'm just Let's Playing Civilization 5 and EU4. That's about it. I wanted to start playing Total War games at this time, but there was this weird thing that Sega had about like Let's Playing their games. It was really weird. They don't have it anymore, and only a couple people are really going to remember that, but there used to be a time where CA and Sega didn't want you to Let's Play their games. You remember that whole thing? It was like Nintendo kind of back in the day. I guess Nintendo's kind of like that similarly. So in these beginning days, those are the only 2 games that I'm playing, and I'm also playing them. I didn't really start watching the game. As you can see, like Earth Map, Civilization 5. Oh man, that's an old picture of me. Dang. I forgot how young I looked and my stupid hair and stuff like that. So I'm playing the games. I didn't even start like AI-only games, doing any sort of AI-only things. Up until I think 2015 is when I really first started. Oh man, I got some cringe thumbnails. Here's literally, this series was my first ever AI-only. And I think I might have discussed this, but 67,000 views. Hey man, I will take that. I will take that. The reason why I started Let's Playing, and this is the reason why I started doing AI-only battles, they were unedited back in the day, and it was in Civilization 5, is I remember reading like an IGN article about someone doing that. Someone letting, I think it was like Civ 2 or Civ 3, where they found a way to like put a submarine up near like the North Pole, and that was all the human player had, and then they let the just AI run for like years and years and years, not in-game years. I think it was like actual real-life years, and the article was just covering all the chaos that was going on, and I thought that was so interesting. So I was like, what if I do that same thing, but just on camera? So I remember when I first did that video, everyone's like, what the hell is this? This, at that time, I mean, first of all, people still get confused about what I really do, about the whole, because I still do that a lot on my gaming channel. There's a lot of other games where I can do the AI format in a lot easier ways, and that's another answer to this question that I'm trying to answer in this video, but we'll get to that part. So this is really the first big thing, the first try that I did, and obviously it did a lot better in terms of views than all the other videos around in this area. So I would continue to do that format, specifically in Civilization 5, where I just kind of watched the AI. I don't even think I'm going to be able to scroll. So back in these days, I was literally uploading like 5 videos. Here's my second AI-only series. Yeah, so I did that for a long time. I'm still playing EU4, like actually playing with nations, and I'm still playing Civilization 5. But I'm also doing these AI series as well in the background. This was like my biggest video for a long time, when I did all 42 civs. I can't remember how I figured that out. But yeah, back in these days, I was uploading like 5 videos a day. Everyone thinks that I'm insane. Anyways, I'm doing Civilization 5. Point is, I'm doing this for years. I mean, we're still talking 8 years ago. Here's when I finally do that AI-only format in EU4, where in this video, I'm literally just, again, watching the AI. It was a lot easier to do AI-only battles in EU4 than it was Civ 5. And fun fact, EU4 is still one of my favorite games to run. Well, first of all, EU4 is still one of my favorite games. It's not as high as Civ 5, but it's still one of my favorite games in general to play and to watch. But Europa Universalis is a very fun game to watch. That's why I literally just did it like 2 weeks ago, after like so much time. So I started Civ 5 in 2013, and then I start EU4 in 2014. Then 2016 is, I believe, when both Hearts of Iron 4, which we're finally going to talk about Hearts of Iron 4, and Civilization 6 come out. When those two games come out, they both, interestingly, I think entered, first of all, I think I have that year right, I'm not 100% about that, but when both those games came out, there was like an interesting reception to them. They weren't as big as they are now, especially Hearts of Iron 4, especially Hearts of Iron 4. Both, I think strategy games in general take years to really marinate for like big things to happen, for the community to grow, and specifically for mods to grow. Like mods are the really big thing that you need to really have in order to have like at least a fan to start gathering huge audiences on YouTube. The mod community is big, and the mod community takes years to really get good mods going. Around 2017 is when I finally start to edit my videos. I remember hitting 100,000 subscribers, and I remember not really being super proud of my content. I was like, is this really... It was a weird, like, I felt two different ways, which was completely different than when I hit 1 million. When I hit 1 million subscribers 2 years ago, I felt very proud because I liked the content that I was doing. At 100,000 subscribers, I didn't like what I was doing, and it was just because I thought I could make better videos. Like, I was proud and thankful to make it to 100,000 subscribers, but I wasn't editing my content. I thought that was kind of lame. I thought my content was kind of boring. I didn't even really want to show people in my personal life my videos because I was a little bit embarrassed. I mean, I know Frank laughed at me when I first showed him what I was doing, and I understand why. I mean, it's hard for me to go back and watch some of these. So the point is, I was like, it's 2017. I had just hit 100,000 subscribers. I'm like, okay, I don't even want to keep doing this if I'm not going to be proud of my content. So I had a couple different directions to go, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to just start editing, basically. And I tried to experiment with different games, but it didn't really feel right because my passion was still with these types of strategy games, whether it was the Civilization series or or Paradox games. So I'm like, I'm just going to start editing those videos. And at that point, nobody was really doing edited content. There was a handful of people, but not a whole lot, that was doing edited content of strategy games in like 2017. I can confidently say that. I mean, I wasn't the first. I was definitely not the first, but I can confidently say I was among the first because I had just been in the community for so long. Here's finally when I reach, so 7 years ago, when I finally do my first Hearts of Iron 4 series, but here you can, and now I'm playing as the UK in Hearts of Iron 4. Here's still EU4, and I'm now just watching. I think there's a lot of games that I'm just watching. I'm not playing Civilization 5 at this point anymore. So things take off for me. It's 2018, and I remember feeling really like every week that, maybe not every week, but every like month that goes by, I'm like starting to die more and more and more inside. Like it was just, I mean, I just described it. Like I've been playing these games for years, since 2013. Not exactly the same. Well, let me back up a little bit. I think that I was doing a certain type of content. It wasn't necessarily the same game because I'd stopped playing Civ 5 by 2018. And really 2018, I was just playing Hearts of Iron 4. I would occasionally do maybe like a Civilization series here and there, but it was mostly just Hearts of Iron 4. And every week that would go by, I was like dying more and more inside. I remember 2019 was like a big year where I was like, I have to change this up. Dude, it just died. I guess that's what happens when you try to get YouTube to upload or try to go and load 10 years worth of videos, basically. Well, I won't be able to show you the B-roll thumbnails, but I was cringing at that stuff anyway, so I didn't really want to show any more of that. 2019 was a big year when I was like, okay, I don't think I can keep doing this. Like, I think I was at like 300,000 subscribers, and I was just so burnt out. And I want to point out real quick that I think it's very interesting. So obviously people that, there are some people that would never burn out and that haven't burnt out from that type of content. I burnt out a lot quicker than others, in my opinion, because I was literally just watching the game. That's the big thing. In Hearts of Iron 4, in Civ 6, even going back to Civ 5 and EU4, EU4 is a big one. EU4, it sucks because I still love EU4, but you can only watch Spain and France and the UK colonize the globe so many times. There's a lot of replay value when it comes to actually playing the games. You can replay. I mean, it's funny because the Hearts of Iron 4 community is bigger than it's ever been. And everyone's going to play even the same nations a little bit differently. And everyone's going to have different goals and different things in mind. And they're also going to have different comedy style, I meant to say commentary, but yes, they're going to have different comedy. They're going to have different editing. They're going to have different range of talents. So you can watch the same person play as Great Britain thousands of times. You can watch another guy play as Great Britain thousands of times. It's always going to be interesting. Whereas the style format that I accidentally fell into was there was not a whole lot of replay value because the AI can only do so many things, which is an advantage that a lot of other creators had over me because there was a lot more diversity in their content. I had to really think hard about how exactly I was going to keep spicing up the videos. And like I talked about earlier, when it comes to the mods, back in like 2018, maybe even 2019, 2017 even, there was like a banger mod in Hearts of Iron 4 like every week. It was incredible. Not to say that there's not now, but those mods back then really satisfied not only the players, YouTube creators, but also my weird niche as well. Because at that point, in 2018, I was a full-on, like, just AI-only watcher, reactor. I'm still a reactor. It's kind of funny. I was just reacting to video games back then. But there were just so many great mods. I remember I could almost guarantee during this certain era that there was going to be an incredible mod in the Steam Workshop every week that everyone was going to cover, and it was going to be really successful. It was always going to get a bunch of views. I feel like it doesn't feel like I still check on the Steam Workshop and all those communities still now. There still are banger mods, but there's not banger mods for me anymore for what I do with the AI only content. I'm trying to think of, some of my most watched videos on my main channel are basically really good mods that like propose like an interesting question. Whether it's, I'm trying to think like what, whoops, I forgot to, there we go. Like India as like an island, or like, I remember this one mod in EU4 that made randomly Brittany, France really long. I'm sure I can find some stuff right here. Well, now I just it's a lot. I mean, I'd have to scroll, but some of my most viewed videos. Oh yeah, these were really fun. I guess these weren't really necessarily mods, like combining the Soviet Union. I really liked the swap videos that I would do in Hearts of Iron 4, where I would physically take another nation and swap them, and their national focus tree would then be like swapping Germany and Russia in Hearts of Iron 4. Those were really cool videos, I thought. I don't even know if those were technically mods. But yeah, a lot of these like really big, some of them I made myself. Some of these scenarios, like this is I don't even know who made mods and then what I was doing, who was making what basically at that time. But so yeah, the mods, because I still check all the time, and there's not a whole lot of mods that feel like they are geared for watching AI in all the Paradox games and the Civilization series. There could be, and there might be something that I missed. I'm not like super in the weeds with it anymore. I know that I didn't even have to be in the weeds with it and really search for good AI scenarios only a couple years ago. So yeah, 2019, I'm insanely burnt out. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm surprised that I was even able to keep it as interesting as it was for like 2 or 3 years there. I remember in 2020 was like the final year. I believe I'm getting this right. I mean, we're going so far back in time. I'm kind of old now. I don't have the greatest memory. There was less mods. I was burnt out. It took so much time. See, one of the cool things that creators that play the game can do is they can set up mini goals for themselves and come up with a satisfying video. You don't need to go and play. First of all, I'm convinced that most Paradox players, the vast majority of Paradox players, do not finish till the end. I don't have any data to prove that, but I'm pretty sure nobody starts up a EU4 game and starts in 1444 and goes, I shouldn't say nobody. The vast majority of people do not go all the way to 1821. I don't even think a lot of my Let's Plays went all the way to 1821. You kind of set up yourself mini goals, and that's way more fun anyways. A lot of times in grand strategy games, in specific, this does not apply to Civilization games, but a lot of times in grand strategy games specifically, you need to set up goals, because at a certain point you start snowballing, and then it's just boring, and then you can't even make content about it because no one cares anymore. You're just dominating the earth. So I don't even think I mentioned this, but I did kind of I pigeonholed myself into doing AI-only content, but I did legitimately like it more, just like I like it now. I legitimately do enjoy watching the AI, which is why I do it on my gaming channel. On Drew, I still watch the AI because I think it's fascinating, and I think it's fun. So I'm still a big fan of doing AI-only content. But it was just taking, first of all, here's the EU4 game that I played recently, and then here's when I did a Victoria recently, Victoria 3. I don't even know where that went, but yeah, I mean, because I think one argument to why there's no good AI-only mods is obviously I stopped playing a couple years ago. I stopped doing those types of videos. First of all, I think a mod can still be interesting whether it appeals to an AI-only or not. But yeah, I did. Even though I pigeonholed myself to make that type of content, I still legitimately, I would still do the same right now, even if I knew it was only gonna last for a certain amount of time, because you can't. I wasn't gonna be able to keep beating the dead horse. I remember getting so many of those comments because I just couldn't stop. I didn't want to play the game. First of all, I wasn't very good at the game. Second of all, okay, people will always make fun of me, like, why didn't you play the game? Why didn't you play the game? Or they'd be like, they would beg me back in those days to play the game. I still did play the game, but I was so bad at the games that that nobody really watched. No one really cared. People wanted me to play the game, but they didn't want to watch me play the game. That was the funniest part. There's so many comments. So, play the game. But then the views, I would get significantly less views, and that's okay. I deserved it because I was horrible. That was the funny. I was never good at HOI4. I will argue that there was a point in time where I was good at EU4. And that was like more than 8 years ago. I'll be honest, because I think I played EU4 in like 2017, 2018, and I was horrible. But back in like 2016, I felt still strong because I was Let's Playing it. I had Let's Played it for like 2 years, and I remember I'd been pretty good at that game. But yeah, that was kind of a ramble, but I did still enjoy doing the AI-only content, but the burnout was over. People were over watching it, and I knew I had to do something different, only because the AI content wasn't going to work forever. And the truth is, I am a lot more satisfied. Even now, I've been making my content on my main channel like this, in this style, for like 2 years. I still love to do it. That's the truth. Like, I never know what I'm going to talk about every day. I learn so much by making these videos. Like, they're still so much fun to do. Do I want to do them every day? There are some videos where I am kind of exhausted. Sometimes I'm exhausted. Sometimes, the topics we talk about, I've talked about, and I don't really want to cover again. But for the most part, I feel really fulfilled making my main channel videos still. And this is after 2 years, because I think there's still so much diversity here. Whereas, like, compare that to my feelings when I had been playing Hearts of Iron 4 for 2 years, or Civilization 6 for 2 years, I was kind of over it. I was like, you can only narrate, oh, Germany's taken over Poland. Oh, Germany's taken over France. Oh, France is taking over Spain. You can only do those same lines so often before you drive yourself mad. And this is such a boring conversation to me, because I feel like a lot, if you go around the YouTube space, this is so common. YouTube is the long game, so creators that have been around for a long time, as long as I have almost always had to do a conversation like this with their audience about how they maybe played, like, maybe Minecraft back in the day. Or I remember I used to watch someone play like NFL games or Madden games or college football games, and they literally like took the words right out of my mouth when it comes to like they can only say the same thing so many times, and that's what happened with my narration or reacting to strategy games, basically. So yeah, I really love still the content that I make here. Here's a good video where I also talk about my history. This is when I hit about 1 million subscribers, and it was like 10-year anniversary of my channel. The last point that I wanted to bring up, obviously burnout was the big thing. Less mods than ever before. I'd pigeonholed myself into something that wasn't going to be a good long-term strategy. And one of the final things, and I just want to bring it up on my gaming channel right now, is right now the fact is, as of like 2022, there is just so many better games to do what I want to do to run my simulations. I mean, actually, in fact, I can run my own simulations now. One of my most viewed videos, some of my most viewed videos are just me running my own simulation, my own AI battle. But yeah, like whether it's games like World War Simulator, there's this game called Earth Royale, there's like IO games, I can't remember what they are, that do a much better job of just like simulating nations go to war, ally to each other, and fight until there's only one left. That's the key. I hated having to do AI-only battles where I didn't know that there was a clear winner. And I felt unsatisfied, and a lot of comments felt unsatisfied, and unfortunately, you can't go into games like Hearts of Iron 4 or EU4. You can with Civilization. You can do that with all these videos, but they take forever. It takes like 48 hours of the game running to finally get to there's only one left. And honestly, you kind of need to help it. You kind of need to do things to help for only one nation to survive. So yeah, the games now that I play are just a lot better at doing what I want to do. Like, they're faster at running it. They're more entertaining. They do everything that other games do, the strategy games. They do alliances, things like that. So, I mean, that's kind of the final kind of factor. With all that said, I still want to go back to some of those games. Civilization 5, not really. I think I'm going to just kind of put that as I have a really good memory of Civilization 5, and I don't want to ruin it by going back to Civ 5. That's probably the least likely game that I would go back to. But I feel like I have such a nice memory of Civ 5. It's like it has a little bow on top of it. Imagine like a little present with a bow on top of it. That's how I feel about Civ 5. I don't want to touch it because I still have good memories of Civ 5. Whereas I feel like with Hearts of Iron 4, I feel very mixed about it sometimes. But with all that said, I do still want to go back and occasionally cover those things when there's a specific mod that I really want to explore. Because I do believe that there's still good mods out there of ideas that I've never come across, which is why recently I went back to Victoria 3 because I wanted to genuinely see if the AI was better. Because Victoria 3 is one of my favorite parts of history in general. I love that time period. Between 1836 to 1936, I love that. And then EU4, there was just that was just an interesting mod that I wanted to see what would happen. But it's funny. I actually have a list of games that I want to play in the future on my gaming channel, and some of the DLCs that are coming out are on these lists. I write on sticky notes. I know it's stupid, but so yeah, some of these games are on my list to cover again. But anyways, I just wanted to finally give an answer to why. Everyone already knew the answer, but I wanted to give the answer. It was just kind of a burnout thing, and now at this point, it's now that I'm not burnt out, it's just that there's a lot of other games that do what I want to see a lot better. But with all that said, who knows what the future will have? I mean, there's definitely a very good likelihood that I will cover some of these games in the future. But thanks for watching. For more content like this, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you.